Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this.
Hey guys, can we ask you a favour?
Can we ask, if you haven't already, please make sure that you're following us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you can get updated with all the latest episodes every week when they come out. You never know, it might just be the thing that you need to hear at that time. Also, don't forget you can watch us on YouTube, so make sure you head over there and subscribe to us there.
And share with all your friends.
Thanks, guys. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash.
And Becky, the guest edition.
Today we have on the show the gorgeous Jo.
Beautiful.
Oh, we had such an amazing conversation, didn't we?
Magical.
It's all about flower essences, particularly Australian bush flower essences, because that's Jo's area of interest. Honestly, like if this episode will make you see flowers, plants in a whole nother light. But I also really, really hope that will open up your eyes to the power of the healing effects of these flowers and how it can really help you release emotions that are stored without you even having to necessarily know exactly what they are and where they came from.
Yeah.
It works so beautifully with the work that I do, doesn't it?
It really does complement it, yeah. But my mind is still blown by the whole conversation. I think you're all going to love Jo and listening to this episode.
Yeah, enjoy, guys. Today we have on the show the lovely Jo. Jo, welcome to the show.
Jo.
Hello, hi.
It's lovely to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Ah, it's our pleasure. So today we're going to be talking about everything flower essences, particularly Australian bush flower essences. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, those
Awesome.
are the ones I work with at the moment.
Perfect. Okay, so could you just tell our listeners just a little bit about you and how you work with these flower essences, and then we're going to get into all the juicy stuff of how powerful they are and how they work.
Okay. I have kind of a holistic practice, and I don't come from this world. So this has kind of emerged from COVID and an awakening in COVID. And my homeopath introduced me to flower essences, and I was a bit like, okay, you know, I've seen Rescue Remedy in Sainsbury's, and I've actually have used it before, and it has really helped me, but I didn't really understand what it was. So I kind of went on a bit of a journey looking at the English flower essences, and then I started looking at the Australian bush flower essences. And as soon as I kind of started on that journey, I was just taken aback by the passion of Ian White, who actually produces them, and just started using them myself. And I suppose the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? So when you experience something so profound and you can actually know how powerful something is, it grabs you and you're on that ride. And that's basically where I am. So I offer flower essence therapy. So it is, I suppose, a bit like a counseling session, but without a lot of the talking. So we do a bit of talking to understand the real depths of the issue in terms of getting to the true emotion. And then from that emotion, I create a flower essence remedy specifically for that person.
Wow.
So that's what it does. It kind of heals your emotions, is where it starts with. So
Wow, that's amazing. So are there different flowers for different emotions, or is it a different part of a flower?
There are. So shall I go into a bit of the history about flower essences, because I think they are really misunderstood. So they have actually been used for thousands and thousands of years. So in the Atlantean times, in the Greek times, Egyptian times, all over the world, they have been using flower essences. And in Australia, it was documented by the first settlers in Australia that they used to witness the Aborigines picking these humongous, beautiful flowers and placing them in water and then drinking the water.
Wow.
And so it has been used for thousands and thousands of years, and we're effectively only catching up now, essentially. But Dr. Bach, which probably a lot of people will know about him, so he's the flower essence. He actually was a renowned doctor from Harley Street, and he put flower essences on the map because he was a researcher in vaccines. So he was researching vaccines, and then he started to realize that there were some parallels between homeopathy and vaccines. And then he kind of thought, well, I want to get away from using bacteria in vaccines. So he started to look at plants, and he started to look at the most developed part of the plant, which is the flower. And it was in his research with patients using flowers, he developed holistic well-being. So he was looking at the mind, the body, and the soul. And actually, he proved that when you heal somebody's emotional state, it filters down into your physical body.
What a legend.
What a legend.
He is kind of like, really profound in this world. And I just think, that's kind of really important to know. So he put them on the map. And essentially what it is flowers have a vibrational energy inside of them, like everything has a vibration. And when you infuse the vibrational energy of the flower in water and you leave it in sunlight, that's when it gets drawn into the water. And so essentially that's what a flower essence is all of that. It's flower vibrations and their frequency and purified water. And essentially in a bottle, they do put a preservative. So it's normally alcohol to preserve it. So sometimes, you get a taste of alcohol when you use the drops. But every single flower has a different vibrational frequency and signature. So it heals different emotions. And some you can put together, and some it just confuses the body. So how they work is they basically kind of what's the word? I can't think of the right word now. They infuse your body with positive light frequencies from the flower. So whatever emotion you're feeling, it resolves it to feel the opposite. So if you're feeling sorrow, you will feel joy. And it goes down into a deep level that it helps you to lift and see a different perspective.
So the flower's vibrational essence, I'm trying to think of it in terms of energy, then I suppose is of a higher vibrational frequency than say sorrow. And so then when the flower essence goes into your body, your body then resonates with that higher vibration of the flower.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And yes, exactly. And it heals it. And some of these flowers are so powerful that they can heal things that might have been felt and held on to for years and years and years. So, you know, if you're kind of like here, sitting here thinking I'm, you know, an older person and I've been hanging on to this grief since I was a child, you know, how am I ever going to let that go? I promise you, you can let that go. You absolutely can.
Wow.
And this flower, where is the flower? Oh yeah, here we go. So in terms of sorrow, this flower is, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most powerful Australian bush flowers that there is. And this is for grief and sadness.
Oh, wow.
So this one triggers a healthy grieving process, so you can actually release the emotion of grief. And this, so every flower has what they call a doctrine of signatures. So it tells you, so the flowers effectively tell us what their purpose is and how they're here to help us. So not only, you know, can you have people channel this information, but the flower also tells it to you. So this one in specifically, so the black kind of center of the flower looks like eyes welling up. You know, they kind of glazed, and it just looks like a head that's kind of hanging down low, feeling really, really sad.
Yeah.
And this one is absolutely amazing. So the seeds can lay there for over 40 years before they actually flower. So, which is part of their signature. So the grief, no matter how old the grief is, it has the ability to heal the grief no matter how old it is. So that's part of its signature. And also, this flower only germinates in kind of soil where there's been a fire or something traumatic has happened to the land in that place. And these flowers will appear there.
Wow. God.
Which is another signature, which shows that it wants to be in the trauma to help heal, to heal the place. So, and the Aborigines, actually, the way they used it is exactly the same as, you know, how it's being used now today.
Right.
And what I also love about the Australian bush flowers is Australia has the most amount of flowering plants in the world, and they're also the oldest flowers. And so what they still do today is they go out into the bush to pick these flowers, and every flower is asked permission. So every flower gives its permission to be able to pick. And I know that must sound bizarre to some people, but, you know, everything is living and everything has a consciousness. And you can even try this yourself. So when you're out somewhere walking your dog or whatever, and you see a nice flower, if you actually ask the flower or ask a number of them which one wants to be picked, 100% one of them will move. One of them will move and show you, it's me, I'm okay, I'm all right.
Oh my God,
I've got
to try
such
that.
tingles now.
Yeah. So they still do that with the flower essences, which I just really love because,
because they want to share it with us. So then that's even more of a higher vibration, isn't it? The fact that the flowers want to share their healing with the people that are going to use it. I think that's amazing. And I have to say, I talk to my plants all the time. Like I was out in the garden yesterday and I just go around to all of them saying how pretty they are. And like when I'm like arranging them, and I'll pull the flowers out of the pot so they can get the sun, and I tell them how pretty they are, and you're doing really well and you're growing so well, because it's actually, there's been scientific studies that show that plants literally respond to the people who are looking after them.
And they love you. There's proof, isn't there, that your plants love their owners. And I've started doing the same as well, and my plants have never looked so good, honestly.
They do, they respond to it. It's amazing, isn't it? Sorry, I just wanted to add that in.
No, that's true. And I've actually just started doing this because I saw somebody else do this and I thought I'm going to try. And so far it has worked every time on with an oak tree. So you stand next to or close to an oak tree's leaves when it's hanging down, but kind of far enough away so it's not touching you. Okay. Have you seen this?
Yes, I did it yesterday with mine. We'll let Jo tell you.
And I basically kind of like close and, ask to connect to the tree. And I say to the tree, you can touch my face if you want to. It's okay. You can touch my shoulder or my face and say the leaves are here. And they start to move. And then you say, and I just keep saying it. So sometimes it takes a few minutes. I say, it's okay. You can touch me. It's okay. And you just keep saying that. And honestly, it basically touches your face and stays there. And it is the most amazing feeling to have a response back from a plant in that way.
Wow.
That is, to say I have tried it with other trees and they don't move. So, I haven't managed to do it with all of them, but it seems to be the oak trees for me that actually respond. Yeah.
And maybe ones that you have a relationship with, like you said, your oak trees in your garden, you've built a relationship.
Yeah, I actually didn't do it with my oak tree. So we've got the oak tree like outside where we're recording now. He's in my front garden, but I did it with the purple silver birch out in my garden.
And it did touch you?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh,
I always talk to that tree. I just sit underneath it. I'm like, you're so pretty.
What's happened to us?
I know.
But life is good.
I love it.
I know it does sound nuts now, but this was probably going on years ago, and this was completely normal. Having a kind of mutual respect for nature, just like we would do a friend.
Yeah. I like 100%. I know we're going a bit off topic here, and we'll get back to where you were going. But I just think, I think we've probably spoken about my oak tree,
I think so.
but I just feel like it's such a guardian. I particularly really have a thing for oak trees as well. I don't know why, but I think they're quite magical oaks. I'm sure. And he kind of just all his canopy is over this hut, and I feel like he just protects everything that goes on in here and kind of looks over everyone and offers its healing. And I always kind of set the intention to the tree, before I work with my clients, share your wisdom with me. I connect in with the tree, and I'm like, that tree is over 500 years old. Think of what it's seen and the wisdom it has from the earth. And so if I can, I will connect to that tree whenever I can. Sometimes I just sit underneath it and I can feel it helping me release emotions as well.
Wow.
I'll sit under the tree and I'm feeling okay, and then all of a sudden these emotions will well up, and I know it's the tree. I know it is. But it's just, it is just amazing. And I think that people seriously underestimate plants and trees, and we can learn a lot from nature as well. A lot of the the hypnosis that I do and the visualization you can really take from trees, especially, can't you, with the whole grounding and the strength and the stability. There's so many what's the word, kind of comparisons that you can take from nature and use to strengthen you as a person, whether that is that strength and stability of the grounding, or how rivers ebb and flow and stuff. And I just think nature's so powerful, and I love that this is just a really, really tangible explanation to show that. So amazing.
Absolutely. Okay, shall I move on to the other flowers so I can take you through this one? So this one we also have over here. So everyone probably knows that that's the bottle brush.
They're gorgeous.
And so the doctrine of signatures is effectively that it looks like a brush, like a toilet brush, something that is going to be cleaned out. And that is exactly what it does. So it helps you to let go and cope with change. So it's about really clearing out and letting go. And it is also used for unresolved mother issues.
Wow.
For people kind of like hang on to things. And from a physical perspective, this really helps with the large intestine if you have any physical issues. So how the essences work is, so around our bodies, we have our light body, which, could think of it like an aura. Our mental and emotional body actually sits outside of us, which is why you can sense things around people or in the room when you walk into the room. And so these work, you take these essences, 7 drops under your tongue in the morning and and at night time. So it's kind of the first thing you do in the morning and the last thing you do at night. And it works on your light body, your emotional body. So that's how it heals your emotions, first of all. And you take it for 2 weeks. And then what I do with my clients is I check in with them after 2 weeks to see how they are doing. And if it's a physical ailment, you take the essence for 4 weeks, because the essence takes that amount of time to then resonate with your physical body.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, so absolutely amazing. So also really good for people who suffer from constipation, because it's that holding on to something and, allowing to let go. Yeah.
Just amazing. How they look like the thing that they do as well.
I know, and you'll never look at a flower the same. You'll just be analysing them. That's why it's so interesting, I just think. Wow. Actually, there is some ancient writing in the Mayan temples that say humanity will be saved by the flower.
Oh, wow.
And I just think that is just so, it's just also another thing that, hits you really.
Yeah.
So this flower is one of the spiritual flowers. So all spiritual flowers are purple. Out the purple ones. And this one is called Angel Sword. So it actually looks like a sword, and it actually looks like angel wings.
Yeah.
And the yellow stamen there in the middle is reflective of the third eye.
Wow.
And this essence removes and releases negative energies. So it's like a sword that cuts through any negative energies. It also cuts through not cuts through discernment. It helps you to give you discernment.
Right.
You can cut through all the things that are, in your way, basically.
Yeah.
It repairs your whole energy field and allows retrieval of previously developed gifts. This one is absolutely amazing, and there are a bunch of Australian bushflower remedies that you can buy online. They're already made up and they've got a number of flowers in them. So the meditation essence has got this flower in it, the angel sword, which helps you during your meditation.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I can. That's really everything you want right there in a flower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so this one here, I actually asked the flowers which one wanted to be shared today. So the ones I've shared with you are pretty much one of my favorite ones, really, just because I think their signatures are so obvious, and they don't look like many other flowers. So this one wanted to be shared with your people today. So this one is the red grevillea, and it's to help when people are feeling stuck.
Oh, that's
We're
going to so resonate.
Yes.
knowing what you want, but just not sure how to achieve it.
Wow.
And its doctrine of signatures is so it starts off as kind of a closed flower, and then it opens up with this tube like at the end and looks a bit like a spider.
It does, yeah.
So this signature is like you're an insect caught in a web.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so it helps. So it could be you're in a job that you don't like, but you just don't know how to get out of it. You know, you're in a relationship, or you're looking after a relative who's sick, and you feel trapped and stuck, and you just don't know what your options are. This one helps to move situations from you so that you can actually be released.
Wow. Oh, that could be quite a scary one, couldn't it? Because if things start falling away, that's when you get scared. But it's for your highest good, isn't it? Obviously. But
well, yeah. So this flower is actually quite unique in that it says release all expectations of what you actually think should happen. So when you take a flower essence, or when you do anything spiritually, you're hoping for a step forward. You're hoping for the growth. But this flower says to us, actually, don't be afraid if you take a step back, because sometimes you have to move around a problem to get away from the problem.
Yeah.
And not everything is about moving forward all the time.
That's so true, because I think that's something that you do when you start getting on this spiritual journey. You do start getting the kind of that bug. It's almost addictive, isn't it? That you're like, no, I want more growth. I want to, I want to see more change and do more. And why aren't I, having this ability? And and sometimes you do, oh God, how many times have I said, I need to just rein it all back in, slow down, stop and integrate. I think that's a really important word, isn't it? At this time, the integration period, because there's only so much, absorbing and growing you can do until you do have to let it settle. And then if you keep pushing, that's when you start getting overwhelmed, and then you become ungrounded, don't you? So that's actually a really, really powerful flower. And I can tell, really feel like why that one came up, because I think a lot of people that are listening to this are also in the early stages of their kind of awakening, so to speak. And it's like they've got one foot in that old world and another foot in the kind of spiritual world, and they're like, oh, my life needs to change, but I just don't really know what that looks like, especially in terms of career as well. Like, oh, what do I do? I know I want to do something different, but I don't know what that is. So yeah, I can really tell why that flower came up.
Yeah. Well, this is really, really powerful. So it's also good for people who are sensitive to criticism. So it kind of like just helps you to, take a step back. Effectively. And from a physical perspective, homeopaths have found that this draws out bacterium, which is contracted in hospitals. Wow. So some people actually use this medically. So it is extremely, extremely powerful.
That's so cool.
Absolutely amazing. And there are, 74 Australian bush flowers, each of them doing something different for a person. So it is, it's huge.
It blows my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not to say that other flowers from other countries are, aren't as good. They're all absolutely amazing. It's just that I've really resonated with the Australian flowers. And also kind of the energy, the energy of a place is also very, very different. So different countries and different places around the world have their own energy.
That's so true. That is so true.
And do you feel connected to Australia?
So this is so bizarre because I've never been to Australia. I have no family connections in Australia. But I grew up in South Africa, and it was just somewhere I always really wanted to go because it has a similar climate, and really beautiful. And so it's somewhere I always wanted to go, but I've never managed to go. And all of the kind of spiritual mentors and people that I come across, on your journey, you'll just be obsessed with one person, and you'll just try and soak it all up, and then you'll move on to someone else, because that's how it works. But all of the people that I seem to be really drawn to are in Australia. So my mentor at the moment, I was just drawn to her because I was watching her on a bit like a podcast, really. And she's in Australia, so I have my sessions with her over Zoom, and that is another amazing thing about the spiritual world and how energy works. Is it doesn't matter how far you are away from a person, remote healing, all of these things really, really work.
Yes. And I keep hearing, like, the whole time you're talking about this, I just keep hearing what my mum always used to say. And she would always say, I believe that there is every single cure that we need is growing in the ground on this earth. Like, we have access to it. She would always say it to me. And when some things just stick, your mums say loads of stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
But whenever she would say that, I was like, that's something.
Yes.
It is something. And then
amazing. That's really like unusual, isn't it? Someone's parent but that is amazing, and that's obviously like helped you as well. But so it's not to say that the medical system is bad, but it all comes with its side effects, and that's just a fact. All medication has side effects. These flower essences are completely safe. You can give it to children, you can give them to pets, and they are just completely safe. And although they have alcohol as a preservative, I can make them without the preservative, or you kind of substitute it for something that isn't alcohol. So they use colonial silver, which also acts as a preservative that you can use with children if they don't like the taste or they're sensitive to the taste.
Because it tastes like brandy, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
But it's just
quite strong.
It is quite strong, but I think it's in your mouth for a second, isn't it? Like it goes very, very quickly. But and so, because I think you said earlier there's a mixture, isn't there? So do you also mix the flowers when you're working with your people? I'd like to actually talk about your sessions and kind of how you work, because I think this is amazing, that you can do these sessions with people using the flower remedies and not really having to talk things through over and over. Because obviously, coming from me, the work that I do, I do less talking than traditional therapy as well. Obviously, that's the whole point of the hypnosis. But they're still having to kind of dig in to their past. They're still having to do work, so to speak, to release these emotions. And honestly, I love the fact that I could say to people, do you know what? We're working on these particular emotions with you right now. You could take a flower essence, and that's going to help you. You don't even have to necessarily do anything, but that's going to help you on an energetic level release. I just think it's incredible. If it put me out of a job, I'd be happy. Honestly, I think it's brilliant, because of course there's merits to talking about talking things through and working things out. Of course there are. I don't expect that we could all just take flower essences and then be like, okay, and be clear. We have to put in the work. I think it's a mixture. But this is why I love this spiritual kind of like holistic healing world so much, when you start looking at body, mind and soul, because things work together so beautifully. It doesn't have to be either or. It gets to be and, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's
would
amazing.
Compliment you
Beautifully. Yeah.
Amazing.
So with that being said, then could we just talk a little bit more about how your sessions work, and how you would you mix the flower essences, and when do people start seeing results of these emotions that they release, and how do they release? I'm so curious. Could you just tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I suppose there is a little bit of talking involved, because it's about trying to get down to not what you think your issue is.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it actually is deep down.
Yeah.
So we kind of like go into a bit of a meditative state, so that we can try and bring up the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion. And it's also about, so how does the person want to feel? So what is their outcome? What is their desired outcome? And we work backwards from there, really. So some of the flower essences, they can go together and they can be mixed, and some are more powerful on their own. So it completely depends on what effectively the issue is.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would kind of like prescribe somebody their flower essence, and it might be they take one of them for 2 weeks, and then we check in, see how they're feeling. That you should see an impact after 2 weeks, which is a relatively short time.
Absolutely.
Because it brings you out to see a different perspective. It takes you out of your place, your dark place that you might be in, whatever it is, so that you can see a new perspective.
Yeah.
And you can move through it. And that's basically, how it works. So I don't think I went through this flower. Where is it? There is a flower for which helps forgiveness. Which personally I think is one of the most important things that everybody should address and do at some point. And this flower, which I will find a picture of, is called Dagger Hakea. And it looks like barbed wire. So it's got the kind of spikes. And it's as if you are wrapped up in this barbed wire, because that is effectively what it's like energetically when you hold on to a negative and you're not forgiving either yourself or somebody else. So it doesn't have to always be somebody else.
No. I mean, I think we all 100% need to work on self-forgiveness. I mean, sometimes I think it's easier to forgive other people than it is to forgive yourself, because a lot of the time you don't even realize you need to forgive yourself.
Very true.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very true. Okay, it doesn't want to be seen, so. But yeah, so I think that is also a really big thing to do. So one of the other things I offer alongside with the flower essences is a forgiveness process. So it is using an ancient tool, and we go into meditation, and we go through and basically forgive, and I suppose cut negative cords with whatever you need to release. And then the flower essence goes alongside that. That's effectively how I use it in client sessions. So we try and come out of the mind and go into the heart, and really kind of ask the body, where are you holding this emotion? That's also a kind of sign that helps to know what it is.
Yes.
And then let the flower essences do the rest. And, the proof is in how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, because it's like your flower essence, it's like we're doing the same thing, because that's what I'm doing in my work as well. And we're kind of getting to the root of where this is coming from. We're feeling the emotion in the body as well to be able to release it. And then I send them away with a hypnosis audio to listen to for 2 weeks, and you're sending them away with the flower essences, and I just think it's brilliant. But I would love to be able to say, and you could speak to Jo and get a flower essence that could work with you. So I suppose this is my next question then, because with the back remedies, I know that you can buy them on Amazon, you can buy them anywhere, can't you? And you can get them for yourself. I have done that as well for myself, but I really like the idea of working with someone like you who actually understands them and could prescribe in your words what's best for you. But I haven't ever seen the Australian bush flower essences before. Can you just buy them, or do you need to go see a practitioner like you to get them?
So ideally you want to see a practitioner if it is for different emotions. But you can absolutely buy them as well. So they are also sold. If you search online, you can easily find them. There's a number of companies who sell them individually. But they also do like remedy bottles, which unfortunately I don't have with me because I had to move location. So they have remedy bottles which are kind of like for specific things. So there's one for confidence. So if you're lacking in confidence, it has 7 or 8 flowers to help you with that. There's one for focus. So if you are learning something, you want to absorb the information, retain the information, that's another one. There's quite a few. There's one called emergency, which is really good to have in your home, which is for any of those kind of like emergency one-off moments that happen to people in life. And it might be a big shock or a big trauma that happens, and it just helps calm the person's nervous system down so they can actually deal with the situation. So there's remedies that I also sell on my website as well.
Brilliant. We'll leave all your details in the show notes, because I feel sure people are going to want to come and have a look at your at your website and see how to work with you, or at least how to get your remedies. And I can just say, actually, I bought the focus remedy from Jo for my son who's doing his GCSEs, and I was like, right, Charlie, I got something for you. He's like, oh, Mom. He's so used to me now. He's like, oh, Mom. I said, tastes like alcohol. He's nearly 17, so that might work with him. But anyway, I gave it to him actually before he started his GCSEs, just before when he was revising. And he did actually say, and Charlie's such a skeptic, isn't he? You know what he's like. He's like, he did say, no, I could definitely tell that worked. He said he really felt like he was retaining the information. He was just like, I just got it. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that. That's awesome. The proof right there. Yeah.
Something like that, Jo, like the focus one, is that something that you could, would you just have to take it for 2 weeks, or is that, say, something you could take every single day for people who struggle with the focusing?
So they say not to take it every single day, like forever kind of thing. Yeah. And I suppose it's like anything, you don't want to be reliant on one thing. Yeah. Because it's something that's external to you. So it absolutely helps, but you can, so if you're suffering with kind of like memory loss or things like that, you can take it for a period of 4 weeks, but then have a 2-week break. Right. And so you can take it, for a long time, but you need to give yourself a bit of a break. That's kind of what they say. And it's not because it's not unsafe, but I suppose...
Well, like you said, I think that's so important. All of these things, we don't want, the whole point of, and I personally think stepping into this spiritual is, for the lack of a better word, isn't it? But this kind of awakened way of realizing and remembering who we are and the power that we have. I think with all of these tools, whether it be hypnotherapy, flower essences, tapping, whatever, tapping's a bit different actually, because you can use that all the time. But it is to remember that they are tools, and actually they're just to empower you to do your own work. You don't want to rely on these external things to fix you. It's just a tool to help you release the layers, whether that's emotions or limiting beliefs like that, release them so that you can move forward.
Yes, and like Jo, when you said about the perspectives, how it gives you all these, you're learning through your 2-week journey, you're learning and growing through that, aren't you? And coming to realizations and seeing different perspectives that is then going to help you.
It's bringing what's in the unconscious into the conscious, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
again is such a similarity to what I'm doing, but that is what it's doing, isn't it? Because once it's in your conscious awareness, you can then do something about it. It's when it's in the unconscious, you don't know it's there, you can't do anything, can you?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes we just get all consumed, get consumed in something, or consumed in an emotion, or consumed in sadness, and you kind of don't see a way out. Well, this is nature being able to just infuse your body with light effectively to allow you to see and move through it. So I just think they are completely underestimated, and flowers are kind of like really delicate, and you don't see them as being a powerful thing, but they are absolutely really powerful. And I think just good to help along the journey,
Yeah.
I hope everybody can realize now after listening to this how powerful flowers are, and
need
kind
to keep
of
talking about it, don't we, and reminding because you don't hear in the mainstream, do you? You don't really hear about it.
No.
Like you say, we all know about the backs, but
the rescue remedy.
and people will use it, don't they?
They do.
Those gummies and stuff, and they. And actually, I looked in Sainsbury's because I thought, I wonder what they say the ingredients are, because I know what the ingredients are. But basically, they're all on there, but they use the scientific names for the flowers,
right?
Yeah,
which I suppose maybe they have to, but it just looks really complicated when you look at the ingredients. It's a flower essence. It's purified water, and flour, and a preservative.
I just love it, like how you keep saying about, it's the light, it's bringing the light from the flower in. And we recorded an episode last week, the last one we did actually, when we couldn't work technical difficulties with you, and I was talking about how we are all just light at our very core of what we are. On a quantum level, we are light. And I just love how we're using the flowers light. Of course, the flowers are light as well, and they're great receptors of light, aren't they? With their photosynthesis and everything. And then it's so you can see the scientific reasons behind it. It works. And so they're lending us, they're giving us their light, and then we can absorb that light in our own cells and our own protons and quarks and all the tiny little quantum particles that we're actually made out of. And I just think it's just amazing. I love it. It's so exciting.
It is.
So I would love to just quickly dive into the light frequency essences, which is a little bit different to the flower essences. But Becky and I have been actually using them, haven't we, for the last over a month now, isn't it? But I'd really love you to explain about them, because they're on a little bit more on the kind of spiritual side of things, aren't they? But they're amazing. So
okay. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but the light frequencies that I work with are created by the same person who creates the Australian bush flowers. And essentially, light frequencies are a bit like, what they say in the word. They take a higher level of light vibration, which can be used for our own spiritual growth, but it's not made from a physical thing. So it's not made from a physical flower. It's basically energy. So it is. So what he does is he was kind of guided to go to 7 places around the world, and each of these places, there are no people there. So it was really important that no other people's feelings, emotions, thoughts would come into the light frequency essence when it was being made. So obviously he had to be there, but he works really hard to make sure that he is a completely clear channel. So he went to Antarctica, and each of his journeys has been really difficult to get to the specific place. And in Antarctica, he infused the kind of glacier water with the light frequency of the place, which is a little bit hard to get your head around. So every place around the world has got a different energy, and you'll see more and more light frequency essences being made available to people as we're kind of like accelerating in our kind of spiritual growth. These are frequency essences that allow what is available to us to come into us. Okay, so it kind of heals things on a real deep subconscious level. So it might be to do with a past life, a karmic life. It might be to do with upgrading your DNA and removing things that is no use to you. One of the essences helps you to detach yourself from mass consciousness in terms of health. So we are all, this is like probably a whole nother podcast for you. But, we are all connected, we are all essentially just one. And so whatever the mass consciousness believes to be true, we are impacted by that in some way. So if we all believe that we generally live till we're 85, I don't know what the official number is, then that is a belief that we then make true and manifest to be true. So he also went to the Arctic, which was my absolute favorite essence, and that was made under a waterfall in the Arctic. He also went to the Amazon, so it was made in the Amazon, and this essence connects you deeply to nature and nature spirits. The China essence was really interesting because it said that China has I don't know how to say this, the kind of quickest release of karma.
Wow.
And so the China essence does that. It releases your karmic trauma that you're holding on to. So a lot of this is kind of held deeply within you. So it just helps you kind of accelerate really in our spiritual growth. The other one is made in Madagascar and Lake Baikal, which is in Russia. And Lake Baikal is the largest lake in the world, where it actually looks like a sea, but it's a lake.
Wow.
It's as deep as an ocean as well. And it is an extremely spiritual place. So it's got lots of shaman history there. And it's said to have the energy from ancient Lemuria.
Wow.
So it's an absolutely sacred place. And it's one of those places that it's said that the Russian people it's their absolute dream that once in their lifetime will they visit Lake Baikal.
Wow.
And that essence is also absolutely amazing. I don't know if I've got the write-up of what it does here. So I talked about Madagascar, and Mount Pinatubo is the last essence, which so that one heightens your intuition and the inner pulsing of the earth and future events, so you know where you should be and where is safe to be. It allows you to be grounded in the center of your power. assists you in aligning to and coming into the flow of the cosmic forces, allows you to drop your mask of a conformity and to reveal who you truly are, your true loving I am state. And it anchors into your being a unique quality of the reason why you came here.
Wow.
And it helps you on your journey from innocence to wisdom, enabling you to rise to your highest frequency. So that's the last of the 7 essences.
Finish on a bang.
I was going to say, nice one to end on.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And weirdly, so every light frequency essence works differently with each person, because we're all so different and we've all had different experiences, and we all have, you know, a different amount of light around us, or our you know, potential at this point in time. So I have some favorites. So my favorite was the Arctic essence, and that was because while I was on the Arctic essence, my life just flowed in the most perfect way.
Wow.
You know how you just want it to be that way all the time? And I actually didn't want to come off the essence. I wanted to stay on it all the time. And I had to really go, no, you got to, you know, it's 2 weeks and then you got to move on to the next one. And so, yes, I definitely, that's one that I will go back to. And the Amazon for me was very, very profound. So I'm not a person that, you know, when I meditate, I don't have lots of visions and have these amazing things going on. I try, but it doesn't work for me right now. But when I was on the Amazon essence, so when you first take the essence, you meditate with it and you connect to the place that it was made. And so I was kind of, you know, in meditation and I'm connecting with the Amazon, and it just did feel really amazing and very kind of like still and peaceful. And then at the end, when I opened my eyes, this is going to sound crazy again, but I could see the grass of my lawn was like breathing. It was moving up and down as if I could see with my actual eyes open the breath of the earth. It was just absolutely magical. It was really, really magical. And then the last essence, the Mount Pinatubo, I felt a real resistance to go on.
Wow.
It took me so many weeks to make myself do it. And it was the weirdest thing. It was like, I just kept on thinking, or feeling, no, it's not the right time now. No, I'm not ready for that one. I'll just wait a few more days. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll start taking it. No. And honestly, I felt humongous resistance.
Wow.
Obviously, the one I needed the most, probably.
Yes, yeah. And you did take it in the end?
I did take it in the end, yes, yeah. But I felt like there's probably part of the essence that I was resisting having to go through. You know, I think we all wear a mask to some degree, and I have probably done that a lot growing up. And so maybe that was the biggest, you know, lesson for me. And also it was the end. It was the completion. And I have an issue with completing things.
Right.
So I just didn't want it to end. I just like delaying the end.
That's funny, isn't it? That's so funny. Wow.
So yeah, I find it hard to describe them. You know, on my website, there's write-ups about each light frequency essence, and I think they speak to you. So when you read it, you will know which one you're drawn to, which one you think, oh my, you know, that just sounds wow, and I want some of that. But it is kind of humanity's next level of high vibrational essences to help us on our way. Yeah.
So with that, would you say you have to kind of be ready for them? You almost have to be like at a certain stage where you would, I mean, I suppose if you weren't ready for them.
Yeah, I mean, I see them that way, is that when you're on the spiritual journey, when you feel ready, that you kind of want to take those next steps.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I see it, but I think you'll know yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you feel drawn to it or not.
And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? If you feel drawn to it, if it resonates with you, you're probably ready for it, aren't you? Whereas some people might think, oh, I don't get that, not interested in it, that doesn't do it for me.
The whole journey sounds amazing though, doesn't it? Doing those it just that flows, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a bit like a pyramid. He describes it like a pyramid.
Okay.
And the seventh one is the kind of like last one. Yeah. So you're going on this journey of the light frequency essences around the world. And it is magical. You know, these places that he's made them in are magical. Yeah, I just think they are out of this world and amazing.
Well, and I think as well, you know, like you said, just again to bring it kind of back down, so to ground it a little bit, we all know that certain places around the world have particular energies. You know, you go to Glastonbury, or you go to Stonehenge, and you're like, you can feel it feels different. You go to, you know, like, well, you know, I went to the Twin Towers, the wreck of the Twin Towers. You go there, you feel the dense, heavy energy. We all know places carry a certain energy, and so then when you think about it like that, and then you think about what you said, this guy is actually going to these already magical places, but that haven't been touched and tainted, if you like, by the human energy. The human thoughts are things. Your thoughts are energy moving around in the field. Imagine going to a place where there are none of these thoughts. We know our own thoughts can be really super toxic on a daily basis. Put that into a town or a city where you've got everybody's thoughts. You can see how it's going to be a really dense, heavy mixture of energy. And then think about going to the Arctic underneath a waterfall where there's no humans, and it's like you can feel the pureness of that energy, can't you? It's just amazing.
And the first essence, so the Antarctica, I don't know if you felt this, but you know, the purpose of the Antarctica essence is to find the deep stillness within you, that real deep calmness, and they call it like a deafening silence, because they say that that's what it's like there. It's so silent, it's loud.
Yes, I totally get that.
Yeah. And I definitely got that from that essence, that real deep stillness, and that's kind of the start of the journey.
And so to share our experiences, we both said, didn't we, the most the biggest thing we noticed almost immediately was that sense of calmness and deep stillness, peace within us. Like that whole 2 weeks, I didn't want to come off that one. No, I felt so calm with it, so at peace, and things were going on, and you know, like sometimes you just wake up and you have a little bit of anxiety and you don't even know why, or something will pop in your mind and you'll be like, oh no, I need to worry about that. Just nothing. And my mind was still going, come on, find something to worry about. And my body was just going, nope. No, thank you. And I had like crazy dreams on Antarctica. I'm a dreamer anyway, and I have mental dreams and I remember my dreams, but this was another level. And actually from the start, when I first started the Antarctica ones, the dreams that I were having were very much old old patterns coming up, old people that were clearly still in my energy field that I needed to let go of. And I was having these, and a lot of grief as well from my mum and my auntie who I'd lost. And, you know, I haven't had dreams about them like in the early stages. I was dreaming about them all the time, and it was really hard and it was like upsetting. But then it faded, and I don't really dream of them very often anymore, just sometimes, and they'll be quite profound. But bang, I took Antarctica, and all those dreams kind of like came back to me. And though I remember the first morning I woke up and I was like, oh God, that's horrible. But actually I just really embraced it because I thought, good, that grief is coming up to the surface. It was still there, because I would have thought, you know, well, it's gone, I've done it, I don't have those dreams anymore. But no, it brought it up. And as I went on with the Antarctica, all those dreams, the grief dreams, the dreams of people that were in my life, which I clearly still had unresolved business around, they kind of started waning off as I got towards the end of the course. But still, with all of that being said, I still just had this like total peace and calmness. It was lovely.
I did as well. And I mean, that's where it's really good to talk to someone, isn't it, about it? Because sometimes you don't appreciate actually what's going on around you until you start analysing it. Like when you talk to each other, you know, like when you'll say, oh, this isn't this, and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, that was me too. So I think that's really important, because we can forget. We just get into our routine, don't we? And it's not until we reflect, if we don't reflect, we don't notice. But I was just, I felt so calm on the Antarctica. Was
Antarctica.
Yeah, I just felt so peaceful. I loved that one so much.
It is magical. But actually, one of the things they do say about the Antarctica is the dreams. Like, be ready, you're going to get some dreams, some bad dreams.
Oh yeah.
That is part of it, but it's like you just described, it's the releasing. It is the releasing of it. And that's, I think, why and where they're so powerful, is that they can get to those depths that you don't realize you still have. You know, you might have done loads of healing around one thing, and these light frequency essences get to the places that you don't realize you're still hanging on to effectively.
100%.
So powerful. And I do say to my clients to keep a journal. It's really good when you're on the light frequencies to keep a journal, because like you say, it's hard to remember everything that happens as well in a 2-week time. So you can really get to see what's actually happened and have some reflecting that way as well.
And I also want to say, it's like really, sometimes it's difficult as well, because lots of stuff can be going on. Like, so I know, so then we went on to the Arctic, and it just so happened that when we went onto the Arctic, we went into this huge, like the 6-6 portal, and there was loads of solar flares that started like hammering away at us. And then it's difficult to then know like what is what, and was it the Arctic that did this, or was it that? But I just think it's just great if you go into it knowing and trusting that it's doing exactly what it needs to do with you. And potentially we were drawn to take the Arctic at that exact time, so it could work with the frequencies and the portals to give us exactly what we needed. Because honestly, that 2 weeks that I was on the Arctic, okay, it wasn't peaceful and calm like it was on the Antarctic, but wow, I had some incredible past life stuff and emotions from past lives come up on that one. And again, I don't know whether that was the Arctic or not, or if it was a mixture, but it was huge. And I felt such a release after that, a real release. So if that was on that one day, and if that's what I took from the Arctic tangibly, I'm so happy with that. Like, really, I am. But I do trust that it's working, it's doing its thing. That's right. As you're going along. I'm so excited to start the Amazon, because I just love nature. I love the animals, and I'm just so excited.
No, it's going to be amazing. And I can send you a spiritual greeting as well, which is a really good way to officially greet nature when you're in nature. And
I
I
would
do
love
it
that.
every day. I do it every day. So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, could you send that to us and we'll share it on the Facebook group so other people can see it. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Oh, Jo, it's just been an absolute pleasure. I feel like you've opened the eyes of everybody listening and they're going to see flowers in a whole new way. I really hope so. But we're going to leave all your details in the show notes so people can go ahead and find you. But before we go, Jo, is there anything else that you would just like to leave people with? Any message, anything you'd like them to know?
I suppose the biggest thing for me that I always come back to now, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point, is to really try and trust. Is to just trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You're exactly going through what you're meant to be going through, and it will all pass.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Jo.
much, Jo. It's lovely
Thank
chatting to
you, guys, and nice to speak to you.
So welcome. Right, and with that, we're off for another episode.
We're off. See you later.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.